This is K. Himaja, lecturer in AAA Department, SRRS Government Polytechnic Sirisilla. So today, in electrical estimation and utilization, this part 14 presents the salient features of Indian Electricity Act 2003 and functions of the Central Electricity Authority. So, this Central Electricity Authority, abbreviated as CEA. Now, the salient features of Indian Electricity Act. What are the objectives today? This part 14 presents state the silent features of Indian Electricity Act, and the second objective is functions of the Central Electricity Authority, CEA. So these are the main two objectives. So this is the part of third chapter. Now, the silent features of Indian Electricity Act 2003. The silent features of Indian Electricity Act. The first objective is, so what are the features? Means policies, delicensing in generation of electricity, open access in the distribution of electricity, competition at micro level, trading in electricity, specialized tribunal, transparent regulator, reorganization of state electricity boards, punishment for theft of electricity, grievance of redressal system. So these are the main features of Indian Electricity Act 2003. So here these total 10 features are present, and I will explain one by one. First one is the policies. The Electricity Act 2003 envisages that policies to be framed regarding various aspects, and it should be done by the central government in consultation with the state governments and electricity commissions, as the subject is in the concurrent list of Schedule 7 of the Constitution of India. National Electricity Policy, Section 3 of the Act National Tariff Policy, National Electricity Plan, Section 3. National Policy Permitting Standalone System for Rural Areas, Section 5. And National Policy on Rural Electrification and Local Distribution in Rural Areas, Section 4, are the policies to be notified by the central government in consultation with the state governments and electricity commissions. So these are the policies of the Indian Electricity Act 2003. Next one, the second one is delicensing in generation of electricity. The Act provides for delicensing in generation of electricity except in the case of hydroelectric generation and nuclear power generation. So this delicensing is except for hydroelectric generation and nuclear power generation. Next one, because the hydroelectric generation requires various technology and economical clearances. The nuclear power generation is currently being regulated by the Nuclear Act 1962. So the delicensing is except for hydroelectric generation and nuclear power generation. The second point explains the reason why it is not except case, because the hydroelectric generation requires various technology and economical clearances. Similarly, for nuclear power generation, it is regulated by the Nuclear Act 1962. So these are the exceptional cases. Next one, the government is considering to bring in amendments in the Nuclear Act 1962 to encourage equity participation in NPCIL. So amendments in the Nuclear Act. To encourage equity participation in NPCIL. So what is the meaning here? Amendments to Nuclear Act Here NPCIL means Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited. Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited. Next one, such amendment will be of great importance as it will bring in a huge investment and thus will give fruitful results to the nation. So here the second point, de-licensing in generation of electricity except for hydro and nuclear. This act provides. So this is a very great importance and gives fruitful results to the nation. Next one, next continuation, license. License-free generation and distribution in rural areas. Section 7 of the Act states, any generating company may establish, operate and maintain a generating station without obtaining a license under this act if it complies with the technical standards relating to connectivity with the grid referred to in Class B of Section 73. Section 5 of the Act provides the central government shall also formulate a national policy in consultation with the state governments and the state commissions for rural electrification and for bulk purchase of power and management of local distribution in rural areas through panchayat institutions, users associations, cooperative societies, non-governmental organizations or franchises. Next one, Section 4 of the Act states, the central government shall, after consultation with the state governments, prepare and notify a national policy permitting standalone systems, including those based on renewable sources of energy and other non-conventional sources of energy for rural areas. So here this is notify a national policy for rural areas. So it is consulted with state governments. Next one, Section 2 of 63 of the Act defined state-alone system as follows. Stand-alone system as follows. Stand-alone system means the electricity system set up to generate power and distribute electricity in a specified area without connection to the grid. So here, without connection to the grid, this section presents. So name as a stand-alone system. So total here section 7, section 5, section 4 and section 2 of 63. Next one. Hence, the following two conditions are to be met to satisfy the requirements of this section. Means the delicensing generation of electricity. Here two conditions are to be met to satisfy the requirements of this section. The area should not be connected to the grid. That means the area should be an off-grid area. The area should be a rural area notified by the appropriate government. So it is off-grid area. The rural area is notified by the appropriate government, means notified by the state government. So here in this second one, delicensing in generation of electricity, it is for not except for hydroelectric generation and nuclear power generation, because the hydroelectric power generation requires various technology and economic clearances. Similarly, the nuclear power generation is regulated by the Nuclear Act 1962, means to encourage the equity participation in NPCIL, means Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited. Here 4 sections, section 7, section 5, section 4 and finally section 2 of 63, stand-alone system, and also two conditions to satisfy the delicensing in generation of electricity. So the area should not be connected to the grid and it is notified by the appropriate government. Next one, the third feature is the open access in the distribution of electricity. So the open access had significant improvement in the United Kingdom, and the prices of electricity fell down by 30%. So next one, even in India, the government is aiming for the same, and the experts' opinion that the prices of electricity may rise temporarily for few years, but in the long run, the prices will definitely go down. So for this policy, the prices of electricity fell down by 30%. Even in India, the government is aiming for the same. So the prices in the long run will definitely go down. This will also lead to efficiency in the national electricity market. So definitely lead to efficiency in the national electricity market. Next, fourth future is the competition at micro level. So the first future is the policies. Second one is the delicensing in generation of electricity. Third one, open access in the distribution of electricity. And fourth one, competition at micro level. Competition at micro level, as the distribution is liberalized and parallel distribution networks are allowed, along with the introduction of open access. The consumers will have the choice of electricity supplier. So this is the fourth competition at micro level, as there will be competition at the micro level. The consumers will get better service for reasonable price. So here the distribution is liberalized and parallel distribution networks are allowed with the introduction of open access. So here the consumers have the option to select the choice of electricity supplier. So here, so the consumers definitely will get better service for reasonable price. Here distribution networks are 4 or 5 types are there. So in between they have lot of competition. So here the choice also depends on the consumers. So automatically the consumers will get better service for reasonable price. Next one, trading in electricity. So this is the fifth future. In salient futures, this is the fifth point, trading in electricity. So in trading in electricity is allowed and it is now recognized as a trading activity. Next one, the distribution licenses are considered as electricity trader. Such trading activities will improve the sector and the resources will be better utilized. So here the trading is important concept. It is recognized as a trading activity. So the licenses are also considered by electricity trader. So for this option, definitely the sector will improve and the resources will be better utilized. So this is a trading in electricity. Next one, specialized tribunal. The Electricity Act 2003 provides for a specialized body dedicated to solve issues and disputes in the electricity sector. This body is called as Electricity Appellate Tribunal. So here it is a specialized body in the electrical sector. If any issues and disputes are arises, so here this specialized tribunal will provide a special body and solve the issues. In general, definitely from different distributions, different issues will arise and different disputes are also come. So these will be solved by the specialized tribunal. So according to the Act 2003. Next one, transparent regulator. For this, so next one is a transparent regulator. For this, new trading market, there is a need for a transparent and a proactive regulator. Hence, the Electricity Act 2003 provides for IRC at the central level as well as state level. So here this transparent regulator regulates the trading markets. So according to the Electricity Act 2003 provides the IRC at the central level along with the state level. So for different marketing trends, different solves, different issues arises. So this one regulates. Next one, reorganization of state electricity boards. The Electricity Act 2003 encourages the appropriate governments for the reorganization of state electricity board. Now, so reorganization to encourage the governments of state electricity board. So this Electricity Act 2003 will do. So this is the one of the future of Indian Electricity Act. So reorganization of state electricity boards, if any salvation, any issues will arises, this will solve the problem. Next one, punishment for theft of electricity. The Act provides for strong deterrent punishment provisions for theft of electricity. So in electricity, any theft will arises. So according to the Indian Electricity Act 2003, the government will take a punishment. So this is the punishment for theft of electricity. So the future of the 9th future of Indian Electricity Act 2003. Next, 10th one, grievance redressal system. This is the 10th point of the silent futures of Indian Electricity Act. So the Act gives paramount importance to the consumer interest. So the Act provides for ombudsman and consumer grievance redressal mechanisms. So here this Act for redressal mechanism, so depends on consumer interest. So these are the 10 futures of Indian Electricity Act 2003. First one is the policies. Second one is the delicensing in generation of electricity. Third one is the open access in the distribution of electricity. Fourth one, competition at micro level. Fifth one, trading in electricity. Sixth one, specialized tribunal. Seventh one, transparent regulator. Eighth one, reorganization of state electricity boards. Ninth one, punishment for theft of electricity. And last one, grievance redressal system. So these are the 10 points. 10 features of Indian Electricity Act 2003. Just now we are discussed. So what is the conclusion of Indian Electricity Act? The act is reform oriented with a great vision and intention, unbundling, corporatization and privatization are the reformative process the government is trying to follow in the power sector. The government is trying to do its best to develop the nation through such visionary and reform oriented legislations. So this is the conclusion of Indian Electricity Act. Now references. Here I take this entire notes, 10 silent futures from Spicy Law, from this web link only. Next one. And the second objective is functions of the Central Electricity Authority, CEA. So the functions of Central Electricity Authority. So what are the functions of Central Electricity Authority? So overall planning and development of power sector in the country. CEA is a technical organization to advise and assist central government on matters relating to generation, transmission, distribution, trading and utilization of electricity, etc. So here in next class I will cover the functions of Central Electricity Authority. So the brief functions and duties of CEA, Central Electricity Authority. So in section 3, what is the National Electricity Policy and Plan? Next, hydroelectric power generation. Section 53, provision relating to safety and electricity supply. use etc of meters. Section 177, powers of authority to make regulations. So these are the topics I will cover in the next class. Central Electricity Authority. What are the functions? So these are the main two topics in the third chapter, three last two topics in the third chapter. So the main points of 10 futures I discussed. For central, in combined with state, the silent futures of Indian Electricity Act 2003, policies, delicensing in generation of electricity, open access in the distribution of electricity, competition at micro level, trading in electricity, specialized tribunal, transparent regulator, reorganization of state electricity boards, punishment for theft of electricity, grievance redressal system. So what are the functions of the Central Electricity Authority? Outlines I explain. Next class I will explain in detail with the functions of Central Electricity Authority, the brief functions and duties. Section 3, National Electricity Policy and Plan, means these are vary from time to time. Section 8, Hydroelectric Power Generation. Section 53, Provision relating to safety and electricity supply, use etc of meters. Section 177, powers of authority to make regulations, means it explains about the grid. Different regulations are present. So the grid standards under section 34, the electricity supply under section 53. So the transaction of business under section 9, means subsection 9 of section 70. In section 177, so these are the topics we'll cover in section 177. So these are the important questions. The essay question, we may expect for essay question. The functions of Central Electricity Authority are the silent futures of Indian Electricity Act 2003. So in these two, any of the question we may expect for essay question in electrical estimation and utilization. In this topic there is no problems, all are sections only in these two topics. So this part 14 presents the main features of Indian Electricity Act 2003. Next class I will explain in detail the functions of Central Electricity Authority. So in chapter 3 we are covered pole mounted substation, plinth mounted substation, earthing, pipe earthing, plate earthing, the agriculture pump set, what are the materials are required. So what is the length of the ACSR conductor required? So depends on rating, depends on efficiency and power factor. The parameters will vary, means the ratings of the equipment will change. So in part 13 we covered a simple problem on 40 HP, 80% efficiency at 0.85 power factor lagging. So and also calculated total rating, particular cost. So the total quantity, rate per unit and amount required. So for 40 HP motor, approximately the number of material is 37, include with sand, bricks and cable box. Maximum we covered. So the total cost becomes 75,535. It may vary from time to time because the cement, bricks, binding wire, the cost is not the same for all the time. It may vary from time to time. So include with this cost, we have to add the storage and transportation, approximately 5%, labor charges around 10%, contingency 1%, and electrical inspection fees finally some amount we have to add. Now add all the cost. This becomes a grand total. Include with labor charges, contingency, storage and transportation, electrical inspection fees. And also in the third chapter we covered what are the major components of overhead transmission lines. So different components are present. Different materials are required. So supports, cross arms and clamps, insulators, conductors, guys and stays, lightning arresters, fuses and isolating switches, earth wire, means continuous earth wire, face plates, bird guards, barbed wire. So these all are the important things, and I explained in the PPT 12 and 13. In PPT 12 I explained very detailed of the major equipments in overhead lines. So in the next class I will explain the functions of Central Electricity Authority in detail